It's time to talk aviation this morning, just the 29th day in the month of April 2019. A Monday morning, we would be looking at aviation this time. Most of you are air travelers, and when you travel, you got so many problems around, so many goodies as well. When you go to world-class airport, you want to shop through duty-free. When you travel, watch all the movies. When you have a long-distance journey, the ones from our 4 or 5 hours here, you can finish 1 or 2 films. And oftentimes as well, before you leave, you call some friends, talk with them. If you are the Facebook, social media type, take some pictures, upload them. Those pictures will be trending until when you land. And when you land, you start to respond to all the comments and all of that. I remember that one of the Malaysian Air where that guy actually snapped the picture and said, look, hey guys, I'm here, I hope it won't disappear. And sadly, that plane, I think it was hit by some Russian missile, and all those things trended. Okay, it's time for us to talk aviation this morning, and host the detail, we always put that on the screen so that you can find time to actually get the contact there. Mr. Godwin N.E.K. You can get his phone number. He's giving that for you for free, but somehow don't abuse it. Just take it down. If you know you don't have too much to say to him, just send him text. It doesn't give job, so don't tell him you need job in any of the aviation agencies, or you need job, or you need money. He doesn't share money. He's someone who loves air traveling and had to put in all his best, even his resources, to ensure that he keeps us adequately informed, so that when we go out, we can discuss and make informed argument. Those are his details there. But he is in the studio with me now. A very wonderful morning, sir.
Hi, good morning.
Very good morning, sir.
How was your weekend?
Well, the weekend was cool. It was nice. It was good. We navigated through the weekend, and we're back again this morning.
Oh, wonderful. I had a wonderful weekend also, and a whole lot of hard work. So the day at 3 a.m. and still running up until this morning.
Well, that's good. But try and catch some sleep at your age. It's not good. Even the president rests.
I usually go in at about 9, 10, and then get up 3, 4, and continue with it.
Okay, we have so much clips today on the program. Can we hit the ground roof? Can we hit the sky flying?
Oh yes, oh yes. We are doing part 4 and the conclusive part of the worldwide grounding of the Boeing 737 MAX aircraft, and we are going to be also doing what I call my verdict. Haven't really touched everything our viewers need to know. Now I'm giving a verdict that I take personal responsibility for this verdict, and I'm going to actually send a copy to Mr. President, send a copy to NCAA, send a copy to the International Civil Aviation Organization. This is my opinion about mine.
Why are you sending one to you?
And it's not about.
They have a copy at their office.
Well,
they have an office at the
let's see how it goes. Airport. But it will be that somebody from Nigeria feels so strongly and has.
But you can also send one to Boeing.
Yes. Well, why not? Why not? Why not? Why not? So that's the way. So let's run quickly to clip 1, and then
quickly clip 1, quickly,
and be sure that are we there?
Okay, that's clip 1 now. Certification issues with MCAS as revealed by investigation. Let's.
Following the Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302 crash on 10th March 2019 at the Tulufara village near Bishoftu, Ethiopia, the USA grand jury and other agencies worried about MCAS certification process responded as follows. A. The USA grand jury, within 24 hours of the Ethiopian Airlines crash, issued a subpoena. B. The USA Department of Transportation, March 19, 2019, requested the Office of Inspector General to conduct an audit of the Boeing 737 MAX certification process. C. The USA Congress also announced an investigation into the certification process. D. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, joined the criminal investigation into the certification process. E. The Seattle Times reported that an investigation it conducted raised concerns about certification of MCAS 5 days before the Ethiopian Airlines crash.
Okay.
That's the Seattle Times reporting that they conducted their own investigation and raised concerns before the the Ethiopian crash took place. Let's move to clip 2.
Clip 2, please.
And we are continuing with
issues with MCAS.
Yes.
Okay.
Continue. The Seattle Times report stated as follows: 1. The FAA, that is the Federal Aviation Administration, that's a United States of America agency, routinely delegates, it says number 1, the FAA routinely delegates a degree of safety analysis to Boeing officials. Do you follow what that implies? FAA that should do the job delegates it to the manufacturer and designer and producer of the
who now inspects who? Who questions?
That is a big question. Those are some of the security issues and safety issues that we're being toyed around with. But let's move on. A situation some FAA insiders felt had gone too far. Even insiders in FAA felt that the idea of seeding or delegating safety analysis to Boeing had gone too far. Sources at the FAA claim they were repeatedly pressured to delegate to Boeing, which was under pressure to compete with the Airbus A320neo family. And Boeing needed the 737 MAX to be certified quickly. Are you following?
Very much.
Number 2, MCAS failure was initially rated incorrectly as hazardous rather than catastrophic. The system relied on a single sensor, which was a single point of failure system.
You mean to explain that?
A single point of failure system is a system where you have set up something that needs to be watched and something that needs to be as safe as can be.
Okay.
But what tells you that something has gone wrong is just one item. That means if that item goes wrong, there's no backup. Everything goes wrong. That's what they call, single point of failure system, single point of failure. That means if that one system fails, everything along the line collapses. But if you have multiple points, if one fails,
have a backup.
you have a backup. You quickly switch to the other, and the main system will continue to work. So that's what we have on our hands with the sensors giving data to the MCAS. You have about 2 of them in the on the exterior of the airplane, but only one of them supplies data to MCAS. So anytime that single one fails, MCAS misbehaves.
Okay.
And then, of course, his duty that he knows how to do well is to pitch the airplane down, and the rest is history. So let's, we're doing number 3, isn't it?
Clip 3.
Well,
clip 3 or clip 2?
Well, yes, number 3 of it. When
Can we go back to clip 2, please? Clip 2.
Clip 2.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Yes, I said MCAS failure, number 2, MCAS failure was initially rated incorrectly as hazardous rather than catastrophic. The system relied on a single sensor, which was a single point of failure system. Number 3 is when 737 MAX was operational, MCAS could command stabilizer deflection more than 4 times, and number greater than the certified rate, and I'll explain that to you. It was only after the Lion Air crash in Indonesia that regulators and airlines were informed about that abnormality. Now, MCAS was designed and said to do a deflection within a few seconds. I think they said a total of 9 seconds, but broken into about 3 seconds. so that if it deflects, that is the vertical membrane, or stabilizer, they call it, that has a jack screw holding it, where you have your elevator. The thing itself could be moved up and down. So the business of MCAS is to always move it down in order to tip down the nose of the airplane, you know, and then stabilize again anytime those engines, you know, cause an upward pitch. All right. Yeah. So, but it was found out that contrary to the design that was said to be 3 times, it was actually doing up to 4 times without the knowledge of those using the airplane. So let's move to clip 3 very quickly.
Clip 3, quickly. Oh, can get clip 3 very quickly. Okay, that's clip 3 there.
Okay, we're still going with the certification issues with MCAS as revealed by investigation. The Seattle Times report further stated, number 5, safety analysis ignored the fact that MCAS could reset itself and repeatedly pitch the aircraft down.
Okay.
Number 6, MCAS was supposedly designed to operate in extreme situations. Pilots were therefore not required to know about it. They were actually not required to have extra training on the system.
Why?
A money-saving situation for operators. This was
why
ask him to come back to us.
Why will you man the plane, fly a plane, and you don't have the details of that plane? It's like you're not going through your manual.
It was overconfidence by Boeing engineers. First of all, the idea of tucking the engine right above the wing and protruding a little further, which was the cause of the upward pitch of the airplane each time you put power. Okay, if those engines had been installed in the normal way, just like Airbus did in the A320neo, they had the same LEAP engines installed in the normal way. So their own brand of airplane, up until this day, does not have that problem of pitching moment. But because the 737, in its natural state, hugged the ground, it was too low to take those engines. Rather than Boeing go into a more expensive rebuilding of the 737 to get it a little higher in order to have those engines tucked away in the normal way, they chose the cheaper option. You're going to see it towards the end of this clip, okay, where I mentioned something about the amount of money they were heading to saving. So it was just all a matter of money game, how to save money and make more profit. Okay, so
clip 3.
Yeah, we're done with clip 3. Are we not? No. Clip 6, number 6 of it. MCAS was supposedly designed to operate in extreme situations. Pilots were therefore not required to know about it. They were actually not required to have extra training. You see all the areas of
lapses,
cutting cost.
Lapses.
Now that operators know that, hey, the MAX is so good, saves us fuel, and we don't even need to spend extra money to train pilots. Any pilot who flew the old 737 could well fly this. And so they had this thing there. They didn't tell the pilots, and they were so confident that the thing would work well, and the pilots would even know when they did their job. The important thing for pilots was to have the plane moving smoothly and level in the sky. Unfortunately, the software didn't do the job as well as it was intended to do. Okay, so let's move to clip 4.
Clip 4. What about the picture there? The picture
wait a minute. Yes, give us that clip 3 very quickly. Let me tell you about that picture there. We're going to see 1 or 2 more. Can you get us back to clip 3 very quickly? Next one. Those are undelivered MAX planes of different airlines in in the parking field of Boeing, somewhere in Seattle, Washington, USA. Okay, so you can see different, colors of different countries and different airliners. So those have been manufactured, but are not delivered since the MAX had problems and had been grounded. So they are still manufacturing based on orders that people made before those two crashes. Now, because they are not being delivered, they are packed in right there at their field in Seattle.
Okay.
Okay. Very well. Move to
clip 4.
Clip 4. Clip 4.
That's clip 4 now. The
right.
Of MCAS.
The features of MCAS. The maneuvering characteristics augmentation system MCAS was installed on the Boeing 737 MAX to deal with its tendency to pitch up due to the aircraft's engines being mounted further forward and upwards compared to the previous 737 models. The MCAS uses airspeed, altitude, and angle of attack. Take note of these, Arthur.
Yeah.
The MCAS uses airspeed, altitude, and angle of attack, AOA, sensor data to compute when a dangerous condition has developed, and then trims the aircraft nose down. It's important to bear this in mind because later on I'm going to give you an analysis to tell you why this system may never work safely. Unlike other stalling indicators such as stick shakers, stick pushers, and general body vibrations which pilots can immediately notice when they set in, MCAS activation will likely take place without the pilot noticing. The Flight Crew Operations Manual, FCOM, did not have a description of the MCAS. This was as a result of the fact that Boeing intended that pilots should never see the operation of MCAS in normal flying conditions. Hence, there was no need to inundate pilots with more information than they need or can digest. That was the explanation that Boeing gave for creating MCAS in such a way that they would, act quietly without the knowledge of pilots and then do their job as nicely as they thought they were designed. But unfortunately, they disappointed everyone, and they failed everyone, and slaughtered 346 lives. Can we go to clip 5, please?
That's clip 5.
Clip 5.
That's clip 5.
Good. The features of MCAS continue. In a statement released on April 4th, 2019, the Boeing CEO issued an apology to the families of loved ones on board the flight and acknowledged that the MCAS played a role in both accidents. And after grandstanding for a while, on the 4th of April, almost 1 month after the crash, the Boeing CEO owned up and apologized to the families and accepted the fact that MCAS was responsible for those 2 accidents. Well, that was okay. As the MCAS responds to only one of the 2 angle of attack sensors mounted on the aircraft's exterior, that means single point of failure system. Boeing and FAA strangely decided that AOA reading and AOA disagree alert features. You know what I mean by AOA? That's the angle of attack. Yeah, very well. So Boeing and FAA strangely decided that AOA reading and AOA disagree alert features were not critical for safe operation and therefore considered them optional. Boeing actually charged extra money for these alerts. So if you wanted your airplane that Boeing was going to deliver to you to alert pilots when anything was going wrong with those sensors, You needed to pay extra.
Sure. That's not good.
Well, that was what Boeing did with those. It's all money game, isn't it? So, but it took the two crashes. Listen to this. It took the two crashes, an unnecessary slaughter of 346 souls, for Boeing to consider making only the AOA disagree alert a required feature for all future 737 MAX planes. So after the two crashes, Boeing let go one of the two systems, okay, and decided to make it a standard that all of their MAX airplanes would have them. But then the other one, the AOA reading, they still heard. If you want that, you pay money.
Okay.
So let's go to clip 6, please.
Clip 6. Quickly, clip 6. Okay, that's clip 6 here. My verdict on the future safety of Boeing 737 MAX aircraft.
My dear viewers, I take personal responsibility for this view. It is my view based on what I know. And I hope that this will be taken in good faith, and it's all for the safety of the world. Having graphically highlighted everything the world needs to know about the Boeing 737 MAX aircraft in the past 4 weeks, may I most humbly deliver my verdict on the present and future safety of Boeing 737 MAX aircraft based on its current configuration. Boeing 737 MAX aircraft is a product of unhealthy competition between Boeing of USA and Airbus of France. MCAS relies on single point of failure system for its operations. Only one out of the two exterior sensors supplies it the data it uses to kick in. Airspeed, altitude, and angle of attack are not absolute parameters. No one should therefore rely on them for an automatic augmentation system such as MCAS. From every indication, MCAS cannot guarantee safety in the Boeing 737 MAX aircraft. The parameters it relies on are not stable and trustworthy. Okay. Let's go to clip 7, please.
Now. Clip 7. Clip 7.
Yeah, that's the final clip for the day. Yeah. My verdict on the future safety of Boeing 737 MAX aircraft continues.
Okay.
MCAS can never solve the upward pitching moment generated by the LEAP engines installed in the manner they are in the Boeing 737 MAX aircraft. No amount of upgrade of the software will do the magic. That's my opinion, and I hold it strongly. I would humbly urge Boeing to consider rebuilding the 737 MAX in a manner that the LEAP engines can be installed in the old traditional fashion that will make MCAS totally unnecessary.
Okay. Everyone will have an Airbus. That's
correct. I understand the cost of such rebuilding might go beyond 10 billion US dollars as against slightly above 3 billion US dollars the MCAS cost as a solution to the upward pitching moment. If Boeing were to do everything all afresh and torque those engines in the normal way, they will be saving close to 10 billion US dollars. But I'm just wondering, in my next point, how much can anyone really pay for 346 souls?
That's a big question.
That's my question. Finally, may I urge Nigeria, my dear country, and indeed all the countries of the world, never to accept a Boeing 737 MAX that uses MCAS ever flying over their skies until Boeing does the needful by rebuilding the 737 MAX in a way that renders MCAS unnecessary. I rest my case.
Okay. Quite a very long one here. We've gone through for weeks now, and you passed your verdict here. But how enforceable will your verdict be? will they be listened to, and how far will those who are in charge go? Because the U.S. Boeing 5 and 6, would they be taking this?
After what I have just done is discharge my moral responsibility to my nation, to the world,
to mankind,
and to mankind. That's all I have done. And I am not going to restrict it to this TV program. I am going to document it, send a copy to my President Muhammadu Buhari. He will get a copy. I'm going to send a copy to the NCAA boss.
About the aviation minister?
I'm going to send a copy to our amiable aviation minister, Hadi Serika. He's going to get a copy. And I'm going to send a copy to International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO, in all the way in Canada. I am going to send a copy to the CEO of Boeing that this is the opinion of the international aviation freak, the only one in the world, and proudly from Nigeria. This is my opinion, and I hold it strongly, and I hope Boeing finds it in their conscience and in their heart to spend the money required to make the 737 the old workhorse that the world knew. 737 used to be the workhorse, the safest airplane ever built, until this competition led Boeing into using the LEAP engines that couldn't tuck into, nicely into their airplane because of the original ground-hogging height of the 737. They needed to rebuild it in order to have it a little higher so that those engines would tuck in nicely. Rather than do that, they decided to save money. Rather than spend about between 10 to 13 billion US dollars to do a total rebuilding, they decided to spend somewhere in the neighborhood of between 3 and 4 billion dollars to do us MCAS. So this is unacceptable. One soul can gulp all that money, talk more of 346, and perhaps if the world does not take my counsel, maybe another one will happen.
Thank God we have all this on records here in ITV. We'll keep the clips, we'll watch, but we hope that the world will do the needful, because human existence is indeed something that you cannot, when a man is late, you can't get back. And like the words of John Donnes, the death of every man diminishes me because I'm part of mankind and humanity. Let's do the needful and save more lives. Thanks for coming on the program.
Oh, thank you very much.
Please do keep the verdict. I also feel that we get the copies. Please do try and work on it, and we pray that the global aviation community will be safer and safer as we go through all of this. That's how far we can go on this interview segment on the program. When we return from the break, we will be looking at allegation of fraudulent and dubious research going on in our universities across the country after this break.
So you're holding an event
and you're looking for someone to film it? Do you regularly hold industry-leading religious or political-related events that you would love to get professional coverage for?
Or have you used event production companies in the past that just don't get it?
Because if that's you, don't worry, you are in the right place.
ITV, in conjunction with Airline Solutions, bring your event live on TV. You heard me right, live on this station. Be it political events like campaigns, religious programs, weddings, etc. We got you covered. On the ground and in the air with our professional drone shots, you are sure of complete area coverage. Make that event of yours talk of the town with Airline Solutions. Our team of professionals with state-of-the-art equipment will make your event ready for viewing immediately after the event on any format of your choice.
What are you waiting for?
Contact us today.
For booking, contact our marketing office, ITV Communication Complex in Mpape, Abuja, or call us on 0803 7755 024, 0803